And it's time to get into some Golden Grizzlies basketball. Let's start with the men's team as they play 2 home games this weekend. Thursday was against Robert Morris. And this game took a little bit for the Golden Grizzlies to get going in it. Took some time to establish a lead, but once they got it, they did not look back. The lead got up to as much as 16 in the first half and then 20 at one point in the second half. So once the Golden Grizzlies got that lead, they kept rolling. And the igniter and the spark plug for that lead and for this game was absolutely the 5th-year grad student Blake Lampman. He had 20 points at halftime. He was 6 of 9 from 3 for the first half. With 7 of 10 from the field overall, he would end up finishing the game with 26 points. But an absolute electric, white-hot start for Blake Lampman for this game, and it was contagious throughout the entire team. If it wasn't Blake Lampman sinking threes, then it was Jack Golke, who made 4 of them, as well as going to the line 8 times, making all but 1 for a 19-point game for Mr. Golke. And then Trey Townsend, DQ Cole, had 11 points, along with Rocket Watts having 10. So it was a spread-out effort for the Golden Grizzlies in their 87-72 win over Robert Morris in the Orena. I was there on the sideline, or not, I shouldn't say the sideline. I was there in the student section for that game. I had my face painted with our news director, Maya's, was able to lend me some mascara for the face paint. And it was just a great game. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw all the threes that Blake Lampman was sinking in succession, efficiently. Like it was a great crowd for that game. And to give you an overall look at the box score, as mentioned, Blake Lampman was 26 points on the game, 9 of 14 from the field, and 8 of 13 from 3. He had 2 rebounds and 4 assists as well. Jack Golke, 19 points, 4 of 8 from the field, all of which were from 3, and he was 7 of 8 from the line with 5 rebounds on top of it. Townsend with 11, 5 of 9 from the floor. DQ Cole, 11 points, 2 of 3 from 3 included. And then Rocket Watts, 3 of 6 from the floor and 3 of 4 from the line. Baru led the team in rebounds with 8 of them, 4 and 4 offensive and defensive rebounds for Neva Larua. And overall, the team was 52%, round up to 53% from the field, and 55.6% from 3. It was a great game for the Golden Grizzlies, and they followed it up with another one. Going now to Saturday, February 3rd, 1 o'clock was the game time in the Orena for the Golden Grizzlies and the Cleveland State Vikings. I was on the call for this one on WXOU Sports. Be sure to go there and subscribe to get all your full broadcasts of Golden Grizzlies basketball. You get highlights, you get broadcaster recaps, you get interviews, you get sports shows like the GioMoShow and like the Blue Ski Mask Show, which we'll mention shortly in the ad read. But be sure to go there to get the broadcast and to get your coverage on this game here, but you can stick with me here and hear a little synopsis of it. So this was a big game for the Golden Grizzlies. Now, at that point, 8 of their past 9 games were victories in the Horizon League, and Oakland was sitting at 3rd place and Cleveland State right underneath them at 4. So this one had huge implications for the Horizon League tournament seedings, of which the top 4 get a bye and a home game. And Cleveland State was 2 games behind Oakland, in that Oakland had 3 losses and they had 5. So it was a matter of, does Cleveland State get one step closer, or does Oakland bury them 3 games back? That game ended up being one to bury them back 3 games. 83-71 was the final score on the blacktop for the Golden Grizzlies and the Vikings, and let me take you through the journey. So it was similar to the Robert Morris game, where it took a little bit of time for the Golden Grizzlies to get their footing in terms of getting a lead on the game. But once they got it, once again, they didn't look back, and it was a heavy lead throughout the game. And this one was also sparked by Blake Lampman going deep from 3 to get Oakland their first lead in the first half. And he had a few more of those throughout the game. We'll get to the box score in just a bit. But not only was Blake Lampman, he had a game for himself as well. Trey Townsend had a game for himself. But it was the Oakland defense that I thought was specifically how do I say this? Specifically worthy of shine here. They always are, and they're a great defensive team. Campy always says that they're built on defense and they can win in any way. But in terms of coverage on the GioMoShow, let's give the defense some shout out because they held Cleveland State to 32 points in the first half, and they held them to numerous scoring droughts throughout that first half, at least 2 minutes, 3 minutes scoring droughts that allowed Oakland to not only get up to the lead but continue and stack onto it as well. They kept all Cleveland State players under 10 points in the first half as well. But getting over to the offensive side, Blake Lamman finished the game with another 26 points. I did not copy and paste my notes. Another 26-point game for Blake Lamman. He's been on fire for games beyond these. Ever since he came back from injury, I believe it was the December 6th game against Toledo. When Blake Lamman came back immediately, he was on fire. And to think that he almost couldn't play the season. He had a hip injury earlier in the season, or around the horizon, around early December, up until. And Campy was thinking that he had to redshirt him and sit him down and basically force him to wait another year, or he just would have to have the surgery and may never play again. But Blake took a risk. Between him and the coach, they took a risk in having him play, and they were going to, we didn't know what was going to happen. But man, has he made every difference in the world for this team. But getting more into the game here, once again, Blake Lamman finished with 26 points. But the story of the game, it's one that you guys, if you're on anywhere of Golden Grizzlies social media, then you know what I'm about to talk about. Cleveland State came into this game as the worst free throw shooting team in the Horizon League. As a team, they set at 67% from the stripe. And it was the Oakland University swim and dive team that stacked on top of that. Now, they always come to these athletic events, whether it's soccer or basketball. They come to events and they always bring the juice. Swimmers are a unique type of crazy, of which I am as well. I used to do my swimming in high school, so I know a little bit of the insanity that goes on swim teams. But they always come and they always bring the energy. But this game, they went above and beyond. Not only were the men in nothing but a Speedo, more than half naked, not only did they paint OU Pride spelled out with individual swimmers, not only did they have that painted on their chest, but during the second half, when the opposing team faces the Grizz gang for free throws, I noticed that the player in the center, I would say the energizer leader of the swim team, Ian Allen, I noticed his hair looked a little bit different. And I'm sitting on the opposite side calling the game here on the sideline. So I'm sitting on the opposite side of the court. So my field of vision, my vision gets a little obscured from distance. And I knew his hair was a little bit odd shaped. And then when I saw the camera on them on the Jumbotron, I saw that they had a razor in their hand. Dude, they were shaving their heads in front of Cleveland State as they were shooting free throws. And I looked even closer. Half the men were bald. They were shaving their heads for these free throws. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. When they were starting to shoot those free throws, I said on the broadcast, I am not even looking at the free throw anymore. I just was so caught off guard and distracted. At the timeout, I was laughing to tears. It killed me seeing what they were doing. I've never seen anything like that before. And it cost Cleveland State 4 free throws during the game. And it was just insanity in the arena for that game. It was astounding to see. And it's not just a local story. This got up on Barstool Detroit. It got up on the official Barstool. It got up on Bleacher Report, March Madness' social media accounts. This thing was spread nationwide to give the Golden Grizzlies some shine and to admire the haircuts going on during the game. They call it the Blacktop Barbershop, and I love that name. So we're going to refer to that as the Blacktop Barbershop, and there's some discussion going on whether some independent T-shirt makers will be making such apparel of the Blacktop Barbershop. So we'll see where that goes. But it was the funniest thing in the world to see. And, later that day was casino night held by SPB. I saw some of the swimmers there. I was dumbfounded. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So if you're anywhere on social media, go and find it. It's the definition for me of college sports. You can't do that if you're just a stranger going to a college basketball game. You can't do that if you're an alumni. You can only do that if you're a student, and especially as a student athlete, and especially an insane swimmer at that. You don't get to see that anywhere else in sports except college athletics. That's what I love so much about it, is the fans and the students are allowed to go beyond what the regular civilian is able to do. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So now getting to the box score of the game against Cleveland State. Blake Landman, as mentioned, another 26-point game for him. 8 of 18 from the floor, 4 of 11 from 3. And he made all 6 of his free throws. He had 5 rebounds included with 3 assists and a steal. Trey Townsend, second in scoring. We got the interview with him after the game. Be sure also to go to WXOU Sports for that interview. He had 18 points, 8 of 12 from the field, with 2 of 2 from the line, 9 rebounds and 3 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal. Jack Goldkey, 9 points, 2 of 4 from 3. And it kind of goes down like the Golden Grizzlies after Townsend and after Lampman. 9 points, 8 points, 6, 6, 6, 4 points. The scoring was spread out throughout the game. It wasn't coming from just one place. It was everywhere. And to top it all off, not only did Cleveland State lose out on 4 free throws due to the haircuts, but somehow in some magical way, it got Oakland to go 23 of 23 from their free throw line. They were perfect from the stripe. And I like to think that it came a little bit at the, with the help of the swim team. But it was just an insane night. Golden Grizzlies win their ninth game of the past 10. Tied for first in the Horizon League, still with Green Bay. Both teams 10-3, 15-9 overall, both on 3-game win streaks. I am not sure of the tiebreakers between Oakland and Green Bay, but they're tied, and Oakland is set at second right now. Coming up for the Golden Grizzlies, they will be on the road for the next 3 games. February 8th will be at Northern Kentucky, looking for the sweep against the Norse, as Oakland was able to beat them in the Orena. Then they travel to Wright State for their first matchup against the Raiders this season, a Raiders team that has the top offense in the Horizon League. And then they will go to Purdue-Fort Wayne to even out the series, as Purdue-Fort Wayne was one of their early December Horizon League games. And then they will come home on the 17th against IUPUI. So keep an eye out for that for the Golden Grizzlies. Welcome back, everybody, to the GioMoShow, 88.3 FM WXOU. We just got done talking about men's basketball, and I had a short rant about local Detroit sports media coverage of our Golden Grizzlies, of which there is none. If you're on YouTube, then you can skip back. You can take a look at that one, or you can wait until the podcast version on Spotify comes out and the full cut-up on YouTube plus segments. We got it all on the GioMoShow on YouTube, so be sure to go search the GioMo Show on YouTube and hit subscribe. Something else spelled like it, so if you can't find it, it means you spelled it wrong. All right, let's get into Oakland University women's basketball. They had a couple of road games this past weekend. Wednesday the 31st was at Wright State. This game started off hot for Oakland as they ended the first quarter up by 14 points. But then in the second quarter, Oakland was held scoreless for the opening few minutes, which allowed Wright State to cut the lead down to 2. And then from there, it was a wrestle for the lead up to halftime. Wright State was able to get the 1-point lead going into the halftime tunnel. And then in the second half, it was all Wright State. Oakland got down by as much as 12 in the third quarter, and Oakland was able to get it close and within a possession, but ultimately could not complete the comeback. Oakland falls to Wright State. Final score, 68-80. Looking to the box score, Brooke Quarles-Daniels, and Linda Van Schaik and Kennedy Monty were all tied for top scorers for the Golden Grizzlies at 13 points. Quarles Daniels was 6 of 16 from the field, 4 rebounds and 7 assists. Van Schaik, 5 of 13 from the field, 3 of 9 from 3 with 6 rebounds as well, 3 of them offensive. And then Kennedy Montague, 4 of 8 from the floor and 3 of 5 from 3, making 2 of 2 free throws for her 13 points. And then moving on to their next road game, I apologize, this won't be as long of a segment, but Northern Kentucky was their next opponent on the road. This one was pretty much cut and dry. Oakland didn't have a lead for any part of the game. The leads got up pretty high for Northern Kentucky, and they took it all the way to the end of the game. Final score was 82-90. Oakland falls to Northern Kentucky. Looking to the box score of that game, Brooke Quarles-Daniels leads the Golden Grizzlies in scoring with 17, playing 29 minutes with 6 of 13 from the field, 5 of 7 from the stripe with 6 rebounds and 3 assists, 2 steals as well. Maddie Skorupski, second in scoring, 16 points, 5 of 11 from the field, and 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 5 rebounds included. And then Markai McCormick and Linda Van Schaik tied with 14 points each. McCormick, 4 of 7 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, and then half of the free throws, 4 of 8 from the line. And then Van Schaik, 5 of 12 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, and 3 of 3 from the stripe with 5 rebounds for her 14 points. As it stands right now, Oakland University is 7th in the Horizon League, 5-8 with a conference record of 5-8. They sit at 7th. And next up will be home games here in the Orena against Youngstown State. That's this Thursday, 7 o'clock against the Penguins. You can hear that one also on WXOU. And we got Robert Morris this Saturday, 2 p.m. against the Colonials. Also can be heard here on WXOU. And then one bonus segment for you guys. We love our D3 club hockey team here on the GioMoShow and on WXOU Sports. And they had a wild weekend of games in the ACHA of D3. The current rankings came out before the game started. Oakland was placed at 12th place in the country. And their opponent for the weekend was ranked number 13th, the University of Michigan. They played 2 games. One was in the Birmingham Ice Arena for an Oakland home game. WXOU Sports was there for sideline coverage. And you can find that also on WXOU Sports' YouTube channel. We got a video of pre-game interviews with athletes, post-game interview with the game-winning goal scorer, and we got a game recap for you as well. So be sure, once again, to go to WXOU Sports to find your D3 hockey coverage. So against the University of Michigan, I'll spoil the game a little bit for you guys here. You can get all the details of the game on that YouTube video. So once again, be sure to check it out. But to give you guys a synopsis of it, the game in Birmingham went into overtime, of which Oakland was able to get the game-winning goal, finishing with a high-scoring 5-4 final score. Oakland gets the win against the reigning national champions, against a team that they have not beaten in the past 10 matchups. 0-9-1 was their record against the Wolverines until this weekend. Got the 5-4 win in overtime, and they took it to Ann Arbor for their second game. They won that one in regulation in another high-scoring event, 6-5, to sweep the Wolverines this season and to get the revenge that they've needed against the reigning champs. And this weekend will be the final weekend of the D3 regular season. They will face Northwood at the Buffalo Wild Wings Arena Friday, February 9th, and then they will go to the Midland Civic Center to face Northwood at their place. So Northwood is their final 2 matchups before the regular season ends and the national playoffs begin. The Golden Grizzlies got big goals for this season in the playoffs, as last year just making it was not enough. They want another taste of the playoffs, and they want to get back. And they believe that they are the best team in the country, and they could take it all. And they will be looking to do so after this weekend. So we'll keep you guys up to date on D3 hockey on the GioMoShow as well as on WXOU Sports. So be sure to subscribe to both WXOU Sports and the GioMoShow. And we want to also give a big thank you to the D3 hockey team for not only letting us cover them. Me and Drew Allison were on the sideline for the first matchup against Michigan, and did our pregame interviews, did our coverage at the end, had fun watching it. Drew Allison, our resident hockey guy on WXOU Sports, did a great job of teaching me a little thing or two about hockey, and we just had a great experience there. And also a thank you to the team for giving us our biggest video on the sports YouTube channel. Our interview with Brendan Danu after the U of M Flint game, I believe. Or no, rather after the Central Michigan game that we covered live on WXOU Sports. That interview got 145 views. Now, let's put it into perspective here. Most of our videos, just to be very candid and to be very real, most of our videos get around 20 to 30 videos. So to get 145, or rather, it's over 160 now. It was 140 by the time I wrote this. But, D3 hockey fans, they're very passionate about their team. So we thank you guys for tuning in, and we're happy to be your place for coverage on the team. You can also go find them on their website for more coverage on the team. It is a long URL, but let me read it anyway. It is oaklandhockey.d3.acha.hockeytech.com. But if you just Google Oakland D3 Hockey, you'll find it. They got great coverage of their team as well. And that will wrap up all of the Oakland sports for today's GioMoShow. Coming up next, we're gonna be getting into the Super Bowl, the matchup that we got, whether we like it or not. We're gonna get my thoughts on how the game will go, some of the storylines going out through the game, and we'll give a little shine and segment to the Pro Bowl and how the new format that we got, instead of the padded up AFC versus NFC, we got the flag football and games format of the Pro Bowl. So we'll get all the coverage of that for your NFL football therapy coming up next on the GioMoShow. But let me remind you of another WXOU show we have. We have the Eli Andrew Show. Thursdays at 10 p.m. on WXOU. The FCC guidelines die down after 10 o'clock here on WXOU. And Eli Sepulveda and Andrew Deacon, your hosts of the show, will ask their guests the wildest questions and take full advantage of those lifted guidelines. You guys can join in on the hilarity with Eli and Andrew. You can find it Thursday at 10 p.m. right here on WXOU. And coming up next, we'll have that Super Bowl and NFL football coverage on the GioMoShow.